the way I had to describe to one of my friends what happened to me, I had to start with the Catholic background, that being saved wasn't about doing good works. Works come out of naturally. That's something we should do as we're saved, because faith without works is dead. So I had to tell them that you have to have a relationship, you have to have a daily surrender. Every day you have to dedicate your life to Christ. Christ is your priority. That is not sports or doing good works or going out with girls or drinking. No, the priority is praying, having devotion. So I had to explain that it wasn't about a relationship just like you have with someone versus doing good works once in a while, which is what we grew up with, at least when I grew up with in the Catholic religion. That has changed quite a bit, but it was trying to explain to them about their relationship with Christ, and that's what changed me. And so they viewed that as I had become a pastor because I was, spiritually changed. And that's still very difficult sometimes to explain to some of my friends, but I have to separate that.
One thing that I want to say that's interesting along those lines is when we would go back to Puerto Rico, especially our first 5 years of marriage, we didn't have children, and one of Angel's friends said to me, his nickname is Cahuitas in Spanish, and he said, "We know the old Cahuitas, but you have the new Angel," which really that was a perfect description of, they grew up with him in his old way of life, but now he's a new man. I thought that was a perfect description of what you experienced.
Yeah. What Dr. Lyons and Sue Williams did, first of all, they took the time, but it was genuine. They really wanted to help me. You could see it in their eyes. I want to help you, and I'm going to invest the time. It doesn't matter how much it's going to take. It's like the book Experiencing God. We have to stop what we're doing to really change a life. It doesn't matter if you have an appointment. I remember I had a baseball practice that day, and I didn't care because of what Dr. Lyons was doing in my life. He took genuine time to really help me, and same with Sue Williams. She took the time to answer all my questions, and she didn't care if everybody had left the church. She was still there for me. I think the key, is show genuine love, show genuine interest in your students. Don't let the busyness or your schedule stop from changing a life. If God was able to change someone from a different culture drastically and dramatically like He did to me, He can do it to anybody. But it takes the time and takes the dedication to those students to make a difference in their lives. The hello and nice to see you is not going to do it.
Christian anniversary, we celebrate it every year. And he's at he's at Northwest
Nazarene.
Yes, he's at Idaho. And I just felt driven by the Lord just to write him a thank you note. And I shared with him, this is a man who came not knowing what it was like to be a Christian. And he has served on church boards, he's been Sunday school teacher, just all the different areas in the church that he has served because of one person. Well,
there's a lot of people like
who
you.
took the time.
Yeah,
sure.
So.
You're a big part of it, so don't forget that.
Yeah. Okay.
If I see Dr. Lyons and Sue Williams today, first, they're going to have the biggest hug they could ever get. I look at my life, and the way the Lord has blessed me is due to the time they took to sit down with me and teach me and really love me. And the other lives they have impacted because of the time they spent with me. The Lord has used me in many ways, eternally, with other people, and has ministered through other people to me. But thanks to Dr. Lyons and Sue Williams, I would just eternally be grateful for what they did, but the lives that they have impacted through us, because I'm just an instrument today. And if it wasn't for them, it would have not happened today. If they have not taken the time, I probably would have gone back home, and I wouldn't have had the blessed life I have today. There's no doubt in my life. I would have gone back home. Today I'm the Director of Multicultural Development for the Kroger Company, the largest grocery chain in the United States. And my goal is to make all our stores relevant to the growing multicultural customers in our country. When I was 11 years old, I came to St. Joseph, Missouri to play in the Bronco World Series. And I remember when the series was over, going into the airport very early in the morning, and I always looked at this great country and the Latinos that were here, and I always said to myself, I hope someday I can come back and help those communities, because I knew at the time that Latinos in the United States were suffering a lot, and I always wanted to come back someday and give back to that community. That was a dream I had. Today, through the work I've done today and also years ago, I make a lot of efforts to help the community back through the corporation that I have worked, and thousands of dollars have been donated to those communities, and it just gives me great pride, and it's something that I'm always looking for.
Okay, I felt as if 3 years ago when Angel celebrated his 20-year anniversary of being a Christian, that the Lord was really prompting me to write Dr. Lyons a letter and to thank him for the time that he spent with my husband. I mentioned in that letter the different areas that Angel has had the privilege of serving in the Nazarene Church. And if you look to see where God brought him from, Puerto Rico to Olivet, I just wanted to give him a thank you letter, just to say thank you for taking that time. And this is the impact that you have had on one life because of spending time with him and teaching him. And so I mailed the letter to, where is he? Idaho. Angel has had the privilege of teaching young adults in Sunday school with all of his energy and excitement for life. So he's had the privilege of doing that. He's also had the privilege of being on many church boards. We've moved several times with his career, and he's been able to be on Nazarene church boards. Currently we're teaching a 5th and 6th grade Sunday school class together, and yet another journey, just fun for us to be able to do that. And he's also been in charge of the welcome committee, the ushers, again, just bringing in his personality of a zest for life and just encouraging people and helping them along in their faith.
I also have served in mission trips, and that has really stirred up my heart to we're trying to start a Spanish ministry in our church here in Lebanon, Ohio. There's communities about 2,000-3,000 people here, and we're in process of working through how we can minister to Latinos here in the Lebanon, Ohio area. So that to me is my next journey. I'm waiting for the Lord to open that path, and again, it's going back to giving back to my community through ministry. And I'm trying to transition one of the ministries I'm doing today so we can get started on that. I'm really looking forward to that. The mission trips that I have done have been to Guatemala, Honduras, and I try to do that every 2 years. And I'm the interpreter, but the Lord has used me many more different ways than that, and it's one of the things that has changed my life eternally. I'm sorry, there's one more. I've also started softball ministries. So softball ministry to 2 churches that didn't have them, and today they still have them, and people have come to Christ. And so again, one touch from a teacher has gone not only to different states and different countries too. So that's the way they gotta look at this. You made the impact at Olivet, but it's gone beyond the borders of the United States. When I think of Olivet Nazarene University, I think of joy. I think of eternal life for me. That's where I was saved. That's where hope was found for me. I think of Olivet Nazarene, the future of this country, because we need more Christians, leaders in business, in health, and I think Olivet can do that. And it's a place that can change this world like it did to me.